Hello, it is me, the sun.
You have a build for me, Sun God.
Yes, it is Firestorm Chieftain.
Really?
No, it's Inquisitor Righteous Fire, of course.
Hi, Zizaran here with another build collab. This time, it is Arc Witch by Pohx. No, I'm kidding. It is, of course, Righteous Fire Inquisitor this time. With Pohx, a great collab that we've been doing for a while, and I really want to make sure you guys get to see this build. But first, let's hear some pros and cons of the build, and who better to explain it than Pohx himself.
Some of the pros of this Righteous Fire Inquisitor is you can expect to get absolutely all 4 of your Void Stones, although Maven can be a little bit tricky. It's got an easy damage over time playstyle, which allows you to just shield charge through monsters and watch them burn. Later on, you can even make them explode. You get over 1.5k net recovery, which means we get to drop all of our life flasks in favor of utility. 80% plus maximum resistance, 30,000 plus armor, along with spell block cap and block cap. This makes you close to immortal while mapping if you set it up correctly and doesn't have to cost a ton. You also get a nice mixture of ES plus life, which in my opinion adds some uniqueness to the build, along with getting 50% innate curse resistance from your consecrated ground. Some of the downsides with this build would be the limited damage scaling. You can expect the average player to hit around 2 to 2.5 million damage while following this PoB, although the PoB itself goes up to 6.5 mil, and with very heavy investment you can expect over 10 million. Maven, who's required to kill for one of your Void Stones, can be a very tricky encounter because one of her beams in the last phase will completely disable your life regen. For this reason, you always want to make sure you have a life flask to remove Ignite only in those situations. Another hurdle to overcome is that you're basically going to be a melee build when you're fighting bosses. This can be very intimidating for newer players, especially when you don't understand the boss moveset.
If watching these videos helps you have a good league start, please consider subscribing to the channel, as it helps me and my team a lot. And now, let's also have a quick TLDR of how to play the build.
The general playstyle of Righteous Fire is pretty laid back. You're pretty much going to toggle on your Righteous Fire at the beginning of your map, shield charge through your monsters, throw down your flammability curse, and on the occasional single target, you're going to go ahead and chuck down your fire traps. What I like to do for bossing with this build is get really up close to the target. When you see them using a scary attack, you can go ahead and use your Frostblink to redirect yourself behind them. This is really good for instantly dodging scary attacks. You've also got Frost Shield to help protect yourself, and if you do get a bit intimidated, you can always kite them out and spam your fire trap. That is going to be your main single target, of course.
So there you have it. It is an absolute powerhouse of a build, and this is one of the collabs I get so much positive feedback on. I really want to make sure we keep doing this to show you guys how good Righteous Fire can be. But let's crack into the Path of Building. Right, so as normal, we're using Path of Building. If you're not accustomed to Path of Building and how it works, we do have a video that explains PoB, and Pohx has done a great job here of doing like normal we do in our other guides of step by step. And like he said, RF is something you can run super early now. So I think it's already at level 20 you can run it. And you can see it goes through here, and the ascendancy points go in while you're going through different trees. So it's very, very easy to follow along. And there's like different endgame setups. He also has an example here of an SSF endgame Inquisitor, which is like run before. Obviously, the SSF gear is very extreme because Pohx is a very good player, but it is a good example of what is obtainable. And here in the skill set, even better, everything is like step by step, so you'll have no superfluous skill gems. You end up leveling with Rolling Magma and Flame Surge, etc. early on. And we have like endgame setups here as well. Now, there are obviously going to be some changes because things like Aegis might be really hard for you to obtain. So there are alternative setups and stuff, and depending on what you're going to do. So for example, you might not be able to afford an Aegis early on, but it's labeled as expensive here. Early on, we have like one just using a rare shield, etc. And in the SSF version, there's also one with Glorious Vanity, which is really, really good for, it gives you the Corrupted Soul Keystone. And obviously, there's so many good uniques that you can eventually use in this build. Legacy of Fury is obviously very expensive early on, but it's not too hard to farm yourself, even though Maven is a bit of a pain on Righteous Fire. At least the Legacy of Fury themselves, they drop fairly often. So if you're able to kill Maven, probably only have to kill anywhere from 1 to 3 to get a pair. And then Ashes of the Stars, obviously pretty expensive, but it's good that we're giving you some good options so you do have something to pour your currency into. The special tab here with leveling uniques, that's going to be updated a little bit too, but really, really good addition. I think I'm going to steal that for my future builds. And there are some notes here, but what I really want to draw your attention to is the Pohx Wikipedia. This is so insane. And Pohx, do you want to run me through the wiki a little bit? Because this is so impressive and I really want to make sure people see it.
Sure thing. So if you ever want to get the most up-to-date build, so in this example, we're playing RF Inquisitor. Ziz, of course, will have that linked in the description so you can yoink it there, or in the top left, you can grab it from there. Under the 3.22 guides in the middle of the screen, there's also going to be a written version, and there's also going to be an entire campaign run. But what's most important is in the top right section, you've got the FAQ and the crafting page. On the FAQ, you can simply Control F and start typing in your keyword to search a question. You can also try using one of the filters, and it will basically spit you out an answer that I myself typed up. There's over 140 questions in here. It's ongoing. I pretty much updated every single league. I'm more than happy to add questions on there. All we want to do is help you guys get through the game. Then on the crafting side, for players who want to dip their toes into some entry-level crafting, we've got some really easy stuff. It's all written out. Then there's also some even more endgame stuff for people who want to go deeper into the build. And
you even have a filter for Righteous Fire, right?
I'll be honest, the filter's a lot more of a meme. It's just like my personal filter. It exploded, dude. Like I hate you. At first, you know, like I hate you for it. Now I hate myself for it, but people love it. Like I made that campaign video, right? And I woke up and I looked at my chat and all I saw was filter command. That's it, just filter, 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 filter. I'm just like, dude, this is crazy. There are currently 38,000 followers with 22,000 copies.
But for those that don't know, I never make build-specific filters, but now, because of Pohx making a Righteous Fire-specific filter, I keep getting asked, like, hey, do you have an explosive arrow filter? Do you have an arc filter? And I'm like, no, I make very generic filters for all my builds. Like, oh, it's crazy. But yeah. It's a good thing to have. So going back to the gear, early on, it's super basic. Remember that you can craft resist on white gear. So early on, caring about socket pressure and getting like your 3 links, your 4 links where you need that, very, very important. And you can see here in the gear, there's loads of tips in green and red that of what to do. So there's so much hand holding with this build guide. Honestly, I wish all my build guides were this detailed. This is like insane levels of detail. And like there's different annoyance. You have like Arsonist you can do Ash, Frost, and Storm. You have a lot of choice here. And for the bandits, we kill them all. Now, do remember, helping Illyria is never like the worst thing at the start of a league, but generally it's so easy to resist cap right now, so it's not a huge issue to just kill them all early. And then the major god is Brine King, minor god is Rallycash. So, if this build helps you have a great league start, make sure you follow Pohx on YouTube and Twitch. Give him a lot of support and check me out, follow and sub as well. Another great thing about this collab is that Pohx himself is playing this on Software Trade, so you'll be able to follow along. You can ask questions. Hopefully everything is answered in the Wikipedia, but just by watching him, if you're playing this build, you're going to passively learn so much and see how he deals with anything. Like, for example, there's tattoos coming to Path of Exile now, and new things. So if anything changes, you'll be able to find out on Pohx's stream. So make sure you check that out too. Really enjoy bringing you guys these collabs. I hope you guys enjoy them. Thank you so much for watching. Sub if you liked the video, but more importantly, try to die less than I do.